this
The
in terms
27th of November, Rabbi Furst.
of the Midas Emes and Midas Shalom, you see that there's a Midas Emes calls for one thing, Midas Shalom calls for another thing. And when you combine these two Midas in one creature, in Adam, there's going to be an inevitable conflict and contradiction between these two Midas. Shari Midas Emes ad Hasoif. Midas Emes is uncompromising. If Midas Emes must be absolute, if it's not emes, it's even a small percentage not being emes, it's not emes. Emes must be purely emes. Well, why? It says here, Filu al shinui shel kos shel yud, even if there's going to be in the conceive of a tip of the yud is just corrupt in some small way, that renders the whole yud invalid, and that will correspondingly, as we'll see in a moment, render the whole of the Sefer Torah invalid as well. So it says here, Mishum Hachi Im Chaser Koitz Shel Yud, the Sefer Torah, if there's going to be just one small top tip of a yud that's chaser from a yud that's included in the words of a Sefer Torah puzzle. So a Sefer Torah incomplete, absolute halachic standards is invalid. The Torah he emes v'tachlis, that the Torah must be absolutely true to the infinite degree. V'chesoron shel koitzo shel yud upogem b'emes emes, and even just the slightest variation and corruption of a yud, the smallest letter in the alphabet, and the uppermost, most infinitesimal part of that yud, if it's going to be corrupt, it makes the whole pagam b'midas emes. It makes a complete flaw in midas emes, meaning it's like a balloon, right? All you need is one pin and a balloon pops. You can't have, right? You don't need to take a hatchet to a balloon to pop it. All you need is a pin. One small pin ruins the balloon, because the balloon, in its physicality, in the way it's set up, the elasticity of the balloon cannot tolerate the slightest flaw. Likewise, emes cannot tolerate the slightest flaw either. Okay, so that brings us to paragraph 13. Amnon, however,
question about that, Rabbi.
Yeah, what's the question, Lou?
Anyway, good morning.
Good morning, how are you doing? Yeah.
So, you're saying emes has to be absolutely true with to the infinite degree, with absolutely no exception or no flaw or whatever. But
Right.
emes is complex, because emes has to also be pleasant. If my wife asked me, do I look fat in this dress? The answer is no, regardless of how she actually looks.
That's exactly the point. That's not emes, that's shalom. That's shalom. You want to make shalom. For shalom, you're going to have to sacrifice emes. So that was exactly the question the Malachim had. How can you have a midah of emes in the same creature? It's going to have a midah of shalom. Shalom by definition is at times going to compromise emes, and emes is incomparable. You cannot compromise emes. If emes is compromised, it's not emes. You can call it something else. You want to call it compromise, right? But you can't call it emes.
But
it's false to call it emes.
But there's emes in at least two places, one down here and one up there. And the emes that we have here has to suit our human beingness, us being human beings. The emes that's in Shemayim suits the suits what Shemayim is.
Right. That's very true. That's good. But the the so again, remember what happened here. You have to remember what the earlier part of the Medrash, how it ended off, right? Um, if you look at the end of paragraph 10, right? So it says here, Amru. So it says here, actually, yeah, during the, I'll show you if you look here. Okay, okay, here. After the whole discussion took place, if you see the Redat, my Asa Kadosh Baruch Hu. What did the Kadosh Baruch Hu, after hearing the discussion of the Malachim, what did the Kadosh Baruch Hu do? Notel emes, Hashem took emes, v'ashlichu la'aretz, and he cast it to the earth.
Mhm.
As we see from the pasuk, Tashlich emes arza, the truth was thrown to the earth, right? So Amru Malach, and when the Malachi Ashuri saw that, Amru Lefnei Kadosh Baruch Hu, they said in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu, Rabbon Olamim, Master of the worlds, Ma ata mevaza tachisis al tikasya shelcha. So for what are you causing disgrace to your legions?
To your what?
To your legions, to your legions, and to your loyal ones. What are you causing disgrace to them? Tala emes mina aretz. So bring up emes back from the ground, from the earth, right? Launch emes back to the shemayim, as it says in the pasuk, emes ma'eretz titzmach. That truth from the earth sprouts. Okay, so this is really what you're indicating, Roy, that there's a truth that's in the shemayim, there's a truth that's in the earth, amongst us, right?
No, it looks like that from what you read is only one truth.
Oh, so okay, so we have to understand we're going to get to an explanation of what the end of the Medrash is. We're still trying to find out what the middle part of. We're trying to understand the beginning of the Medrash, right? But at this point, the argument that took place, for example, between Shalom and between Emes, that Shalom said that Adam should be created, and Emes said Adam should not be created. So the discussion was that Shalom understood that there's going to have to be a sacrifice of Emes, right, in order to achieve Shalom, right? And Emes said, well, if you're going to sacrifice Emes, then Emes doesn't exist, right? So how can you create a creature that's going to be required to achieve Shalom at the expense of Emes? If you're going to expend Emes, right, then Emes ceases to exist. So that was their discussion.
I still have an issue.
There's a meat of Emes. There's a meat of Emes. He has to express it.
Torah.
How do you express these characteristics? We have the meat. The question is, how is it expressed? Yeah, Chimila, go ahead. What?
So the Torah is true.
Lou, you said something?
Yeah, the Torah is true, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we have the incident with Ruvain and Bilhah. And it says that he slept with her.
No, it doesn't say it slept with her. That's not true. It did not say did not sleep with her. It did not say that.
Okay, I'll have to check my source.
Yeah. Okay. So look over the parsha there. We're going to get to it in 2 weeks, a week or two. But check it out. Okay. So now the question is, how can you sacrifice Emes for the existence of Shalom, right? And because to sacrifice Emes is going to be a fault in Adam himself. Adam is supposed to be created both with Shamel and with Emes. As we said yesterday, that again, only Adam has the ability to bring these things into existence, right? No other creatures have the ability to bring shalom or emes into existence, or the lack of them. And so therefore, Adam's part of his creation was in order to achieve these things. So how is he going to achieve shalom? Because in certain, as we said, certain circumstances, he's going to apparently have to sacrifice emes. Oh, so that's right. So that brings us to paragraph number 13. Lou, would you like to pick up reading a bit to paragraph 13?
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Amnam mitzad sheni mutar la'adam lishnos es ha'emes mipnei darachai shalom, darkei shalom.
Darkei shalom.
Okay, so, however, from the perspective of from a second perspective, it is permissible for a person what's lishnos?
Lishon is to change the emes, to alter the truth.
To alter the truth because of the ways of peace.
Right. This is exactly what we've been discussing here.
Right. Vichal efo ba'adam midas hashalom. And vichal is to attach.
This I believe. So let me see. I believe this is he's quoting the Gemara in Yevamos. 1 minute. Let me look at the Gemara for a moment. Hold on. You can continue on in the meantime. I just have to open up the program to get a reading on the Gemara here. Hold on.
What's the next word? What's afo?
Afo, no, that's a different one. No. Here, from here, this is the aspect of Adam. Bechal Afo ba'Adam midas hashalom. That it's going to be right the aspect in Adam as part of his midah of shalom. 1 minute. Let me continue. This is all a quote of the Gemara. I need to see the Gemara. 1 minute. 1 minute.
B'sha'alta ha malachim haisa eich shayich shetehei v'adam harachav shel bet midos ha-pochos. So the angels asked, how is it appropriate that it should be that a person I don't know what harachav is.
Shalos HaMalachim, the question of the Malachim was, how is it possible that there should be in Adam a combination, harchava, a combination of two midos hafukos that are opposite? How can that was the question of the Malachim. But Kadosh Baruch was creating Adam, and the Malachim are pointing out that Adam is going to be created with a matrix of contradictory and opposite characteristics. How can that be?
Right.
Exactly.
Hashem is complete, right? He's one, right? By
Right.
which
Yeah.
we mean that He's indivisible, unalterable, and all of that can't, because if your husband were to alter one thing, then it wouldn't be Hashem.
Right.
Okay. So Hashem is one and only. There can't be any, and we say that there can't be anything greater than Hashem or even equal to Hashem. You say that?
Correct. That's right.
So that means that truth, that means that could mean that truth and that all the other things, their idea of completeness is not as complete as Hashem. So that they're not sort of absolutely inalterable. They're not equal to Hashem at all.
Right.
So they're not so complete. When we use the word complete, that's what we mean with Hashem. So that they're not complete from that point of view. It means that they've got something in them that is part of them, but is not doesn't make them as complete as equal to in any way to Hashem. So they can be altered here and there. It depends on how and why and all that. But they can be altered without being incomplete from the point of view of being. It was what I said before. Complete here, truth here.
Correct. The question remains, though, that when we need to learn a lesson, meaning there's a lesson that the Medrash is coming to teach us, that there was something which had to be explained, meaning the Malachim were perplexed, right? And the Malachim are beings of very high intelligence, without the interference of emotions, and therefore in their very high level of intelligence, they were trying to grapple with the contradiction of a creature, right, that has opposite traits, meaning and this is something that the Malachim they can't understand, because the Malachim, they are created in specifics and unchanging. They are completely as many other things, meaning the nature of stones, the nature of inanimate objects, nature of even smaking. The nature of things don't change. Apple trees invariably always make apple trees, right? Rose bushes always invariably make roses, right? Water behaves in exact ways that are predictable, right? Adam is not like that, right? Adam doesn't have any, there's no predicting Adam, right? Because Adam is a Baal Bechira, and based on the fact that he has free will, so his free will is influenced by his traits and his emotions, right? So the Malachim were trying to come to grips with the creation of an emotional, intelligent being, because they are unemotional, intelligent beings, right? So that was the perplexion, that was the grappling that the Malachim had to try and come to terms with when it came time that Adam was going to be created.
If you take a mashal of often used so many times, it's incredible, of making a cake. You put in something sweet, you put in something sour, and together it and with everything else, and that makes the cake and the flavor of the cake. Without it, the cake would be incomplete.
Right.
So it's a contradicting aspects. Excuse me. Are actually part of the completeness necessary for a complete human being.
Right.
Adam. So there's no problem with it. It's there. It's needed to make us make Adam.
Yeah, but again, when you're dealing with emis, again, as we said, emis is like the balloon. You can't place a needle in a balloon and still call it a balloon.
Can't place a what?
Can't place a needle in a balloon and still call it a balloon.
Yes, you can call it a busted balloon, but it's still serious.
You know what happens to busted. You know where busted balloons go. They go right in the garbage, right?
Yes, okay, but it's still a balloon.
Yeah, well, but that's why the Havdil he used an example of a Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah is invalid. It's not considered a Sefer Torah anymore.
All right, but a Sefer Torah is not in the same category or the same level as a balloon. Much higher. But
Yeah.
so a Sefer Torah and a balloon, I don't think a Sefer Torah is something absolutely completely different. It's probably not even.
It's absolutely puzzle. It's invalid completely with the smallest puncture, as he said, of a corrupt tip of it, but it's completely puzzle. You can't make a brach on it. You can't be Yotzi Kriyas Torah. You can't be Yotzi Parshas Zohar with it. It's completely puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I think what the is the central that you balance the middle by the
Yeah, but that's not gonna solve the problem of emis. You will sacrifice the emis here. Emis, if it's not emis, it's not emis.
Right.
By definition, because balancing is very nice. It's very nice to balance everything, but that's not. But if you're not gonna have that balancing is gonna destroy your emis, right? That's the issue that has to be resolved here. So and that's how he's explaining. He's explaining because you have here the case of Darki Shalom. You see, you can Mishana the emis. So how are we supposed to understand, right, that emis is able to exist at the same time being sacrificed, right? That's what he says. Shalas Malachim in the second line in paragraph 13. Shalas Malachim, the predicament, the paradox that the Malachim faced was Eich Shaykh Shitei Ba'adam or Chava Shel Beis Midas Hafukas. How is it possible that there should be in Adam a combination of two opposite characteristics? Take a look. Go ahead, Lou. Continue on.
Dio Yehe Baal Kitata Im Misnahag Ape Midas Haemes Ad Hasof. So it's sufficient. What is katata?
Balkatan, he's a quarrelsome. He's a quarrelsome person. Katata is a quarrel.
Qualic?
Quarrelsome.
I can't understand.
He gets into fights. People get into fights.
Oh, quarrel.
And sorry, it's a sort of quarreling that is not good.
Yeah, Katata is not good. Right, that's right.
Not the quarreling that you and I do, Roy.
We don't quarrel.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So all right. So what did you? So you agree with me?
I'm telling you, you're wrong. I said what you said.
There's no quarrel. You're wrong. That's just simple. There's no quarrel here.
Okay. Oh, that is.
Im misnahag, if he has the custom, what is this abbreviation?
If he's going to be behaving according to the mida, the trait of truth, adasov, to the ultimate limit.
Okay, so it's sufficient that he can be a quarreling person if he's accustomed to act in accordance with truth to the ultimate.
That's right. That's right. If a person a person is asked, well, like, do you enjoy my music, my music playing? So he says, no. If he's going to see the truth, you're terrible. Your violin is off key. You don't know how to play a note, right? You're going to take it, and that's going to cause trouble. That's going to cause trouble. If he's going to be honest to the nth degree, he's going to cause a lot of trouble, right?
Right.
No political correctness in this world. They can throw that in the toilet twice.
Oh, Yehay Dovar.
Yeah, Davish scarring. Or either he's going to speak the lies. He's either going to, if he's going to either speak, oh, you're such a wonderful violin player. You know what? I heard in Carnegie Hall, I saw a sign there. They're looking for a second violinist with the orchestra there. I think you should go and apply for it. You're such a wonderful violinist, right? He's a flat out liar.
If he is accustomed to act according to the characteristic of peace.
Right. If he wants peace, right? He wants peace. He doesn't want to, this fellow said, look, I'm gonna, oh, you love my violin so nicely, I'm gonna come over tomorrow. I'm gonna perform for you for an hour and a half. Right? Midas the Shalom has just reached the apex of Shalom. Now he's invited this most lousiest violin player to his house for the next hour and a half tomorrow, right? Because he said, he said his lies, right? Because he wanted to avoid the fight. He says he should have told him straight away. You don't even know how to hold the violin up in the right hand. You don't know. Holding the what do you call it? What do you call it? Not the bow. What do they call that? The thing they move back and forth.
The bow.
But is that what it's called? A bow?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even know how to hold a bow right. You can't. That's what he should have told him straight away. If he wanted to tell him the truth, he should have told him, you don't know how to hold a bow right, please. Don't tell me you're a violinist, right? So he didn't want to get into a fight, so he lied, right? For the sake of Shalom, right? So so the Malachim had this paradox, right? This great enigma, of Adam. How is Adam going to ever embody these characteristics? A tremendous enigma.
Umidas shalom ve'emes haim midusav shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu. De shamo shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu shalom v'chus mu emes. The way of peace and truth, they are, what is this word, midosav?
These are characteristics of a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Oh, midosav. These are characteristics of Hashem.
This is Roy. This is a little bit what you were talking about. You were mentioning the fact that a Kadosh Baruch Hu is echad. A Kadosh Baruch Hu has these characteristics. So So we're gonna have to see how the interjection of this concept that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has these midas as well. We're gonna have to see how he is going to hopefully elaborate on his explanation based on this point.
I don't think I say that. I just said he was complete, but didn't didn't say that he had contradictory aspects. Did I? No, no, I just said it had one completeness, and that's it. Full stop.
Okay, so now you're gonna have to come to terms with this, because you see that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has both these characteristics.
Yeah, fine. That's no problem.
Okay.
I said before that you need both. You need what Hashem needs, no, but it's sort of hard to sort of say for Hashem needs this and that, and we need this and that. But anyway, they're both present in Hashem, of Hashem, and they're indivisible. With us, that they are divisible.
Right.
But they're not-
No, yeah, that's for sure.
Does the Ramach talk about it in too much-
Rabbi, when you two talk, I can't understand what you're saying.
No,
You have to talk louder if you want.
Oh,
Yeah.
'cause I said, does the Ramach talk about it in Tamar Devora? Because the Ramach talks about the characteristics of Hashem and how man should emulate him. I was just wondering, just a thought.
Okay, let's continue on.
That the name of Hashem, it is Shalom, it is peace. And what is this word? Chotmo?
That means his signature, the signature. The Chasim is the signature.
And his signature is truth.
So we see that the Kadosh Baruch Hu has these two midas of Shalom and of Emes, as we see that the name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu is Shalom, and his Chasima, his signature is Emes. So I mean that we have to understand. Usually people sign their names, right? Usually people sign their names. So here we see the name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu is Shalom, and yet his signature is Emes. So that doesn't seem to be exactly what we're normally experiencing in our daily lives. Usually, as I said, the person's name is usually his signature. So that might be something he's going to take up and explain further. He's a little bit more development.
I wonder if the metaphor here, a signature is have a good day, Judy. A signature is the thing that identifies a product as being from me. I sign, then we know that contract or that document that I signed, we know that it came from me. So
right.
That's the metaphor. Then we're saying that if you look at something that has been done, something that has been produced, that product, if that product has the characteristic of truth, absolute truth, then we know it came from Hashem.
Right.
Okay.
I was going to say that when Hashem, so you sign the name truth, or when you sign, you're just identifying yourself. Hashem is identifying himself that he's truth, but he's not saying anything about inside himself. We're not confessing what we are, who we are, what we believe in. We're just saying that this is me, and that's it. This is my body. Here it's me.
Right.
We're not saying what I am and what I believe or anything about myself.
Right. Correct.
But what Hashem is, his essence is shalom.
Mm-hmm.
But that
we know and we know nothing about the essence of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We only know certain characteristics. of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So
What does it mean when it says his name? Isn't a name the essence? Doesn't it? Isn't it? Don't we learn that when Adam named the animals, it was what he was doing was he was identifying the essence of each animal.
Yeah, that's correct. But I think you can only apply that to something which is physical, something which is spiritual. I don't think the essence of something spiritual. It's beyond us, right? That's Adam. He couldn't give names to the malachim because they're in essence is something spiritual. So it's not within our realm to give something to understand the essence of something spiritual. You see that in physics yourself. You see all the atomic properties. What do we know from them? We don't know the essence of them. We only know their properties.
Right. So I get that, but I still have a question now. What does it mean? I'm trying to understand this mashal. What does it mean when it says that Hashem's name is Shalom?
Right. That he's referred to. I mean, like, look, Kadosh Baruch has a lot of names. We refer to him. We refer to Kadosh Baruch with a lot of different names. Right. So I mean, it would be false to say that each one of these names is expressing something which is different than a. There's no differences in Kadosh Baruch. Every Kadosh Baruch is completely echad, right? So it's beyond us to really understand the true unity of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We just say these words, but we don't really have. I at least don't have any really understanding of what that means. But we only understand Kadosh Baruch Hu through the interaction that he has with the world. It's somewhat very similar to atomic particles. We only know these things through their properties, through their behaviors, but we don't know anything about them in essence.
Right. Okay, Viker?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The rock Eitzel Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shayich Dehani Trey Midos Yiyu Chalom Be Bimaloim Beves Echad. And only by Hashem is it proper that these two characteristics are what is chalim?
So cholim b'maluam b'ba'asachas. It's only possible by a Kadosh Baruch Hu that these two characteristics, these two traits, are chalim existing b'maluim absolutely at the same time b'ba'asachas. I know nothing about the Zohar.
Chalim is to exist.
Yeah. Excuse me, bro. Like Lou?
Chalim is to exist.
Chali means to exist, right?
And Beloim is absolutely.
Yeah, in full. They exist in full, absolutely. Simultaneously.
It's like they're combined into one thing.
Okay, so
With Hashem, there's no dichotomy. It's all one thing.
There again, so it
Only,
says here,
only with Hashem can we have both of these two together.
right, that they should coexist completely without compromise. That can only exist by Kadosh Baruch. This apparently is from the perspective of the Malachim, right? This is from the perspective of the Malachim. That so the question was again their paradox, right? The dilemma was, how is Adam supposed to be created with these? Because we're taking with now it's becoming even more clear. I mean, Kadosh Baruch Hu in the creation of man, he's taking those characteristics of himself, so to speak, right, and putting that into man, right? Putting that into man, right? So trees are not created with a characteristic of emes or a characteristic of shalom. Sheep are not created with a characteristic, a trait of emes or of shalom, but Adam is, because Adam has that chelik mimal, he has that tselem elakim. So that part of Adam which is created, but tselem elakim, has characteristics of Kadosh Baruch Hu as well, right? So only Kadosh Baruch Hu can have both these traits, emes and shalom, coexisting simultaneously without any compromise. But the Malachim's dilemma was, how can Adam be created? How can a creation be created that's going to have shalom and emes existing, but there's going to be compromise, because as much as the Kadosh Baruch Hu will make Adam a tselem elakim, he can't be completely tselem elakim. So therefore, there must be by perforce, out of necessity, some compromise in emes, some compromise in shalom. So how can the Adam be created under those circumstances?
And my question would be, why did he create it this way? Why didn't he create it in a sense that man could balance these two characteristics without compromising one or the other?
No, the characteristics by definition are uncompromised.
Right.
That's so the only way to create it without emes, without shalom. But if he has those characteristics, they have to be, by definition, they can't be compromised. So if they can't be compromised, so how can you create someone with the necessity to compromise?
So that's why truth says don't create him, because he can't be created with the absolute truth.
Well, that's the question here.
I remember once I read in a book that the world was first created in Din, and Hashem saw that the world could not exist under Din. So then he created the world with Rachamim, and therefore that allowed man and the world to exist and to move forward. So maybe it's something similar, that these two characters have to be. It depends on how you do it. I don't know.
Again, Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't see and realize something. Kadosh Baruch Hu knows everything at all times and all possible. Right. So Kadosh Baruch to so to speak, to create existence, there must be din. It must be din without any compromise. Must be strict din. Existence requires that to be natural laws. Natural laws, right, require that there's no compromise in natural laws. You can't have a universe, right, unless it's coadic. You can't have a universe that's going to have variable natural laws. No, right? It can't be. So that means din requires that. Nevertheless, so to create the universe, you need din. To sustain the universe, that the universe should be continuing, right? The universe should be continuing. You need to have rachamim. I explained this about 2 weeks ago, Lou. You remember I used the example of entropy. Remember I mentioned entropy
Yes,
to you about. So there's such a concept in physical law that every system, because of the concept of entropy, every system by perforce is going to be degenerating. Whatever reason why that has to be, every system is going to degenerate. And that's the effect of entropy, right? The universe, there's no entropy to the universe because the Kadosh Baruch Hu is sustaining the universe through his meter of mercy, of compassion. So therefore, the meter of mercy was combined with the meter of din. That din was required to create this system. And in order to counteract and counterbalance the entropy, the degeneration factors of a physical existence, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to interject mercy to sustain the universe. So there shouldn't be this effect of entropy.
And according to the Chaim of Illusion, the universe is recreated every second.
Yeah.
Therefore, entropy would only apply when you have a system which is set up and is allowed to continue on its own. Whereas if you recreate the universe every second, then it's like recreating it from the beginning.
In order to have a law, you have to have, and the law to be valid, you have to have something or someone or whatever to do the law, to obey the law. There's no point in having a law if the law won't exist unless there is a partner to it. So there's the law to, whatever, I don't know. So, but the law, you need to, so you do need to have, for a punishment, you have to have a crime. For something good, you have to have, you have to have someone to do it. You know what I mean? Or trying to.
In order to have, for reward and punishment requires that there be laws. And once you have laws, then there's the rewards for maintaining and abiding by the laws, and there's punishment for the breaking of the laws. And therefore you have to have somebody that is going to be abiding or transgressing.
So that's why if we only had as animals, you would need laws.
That's right.
Because animals work on instinct.
Right. The Torah is only necessary because of man. If there's no man, you don't need the Torah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So where does that leave us?
Why he created man? How he created man? All we know is that he created man in our image. But he doesn't say how and how he built a man. What characteristics he gave him and why he did it.
Well, we're getting insights into this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's finish up this paragraph.
The Chatima shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu emes. Is this hey 5?
No, that Hashem Yisbarach.
That Hashem Yisbarach Kulo Rachamim V'Chesed. So the signature of Hashem is truth, and Hashem is all of him is mercy and loving kindness.
Right. So at the same time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Chasima is emes, at the same time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is absolutely, completely Rachmim V'Chesed. So behind of that means, that's what it means with the following quote.
Oh, say Shalom b'mamav. Make peace in the world.
Right. Well, Bimarav is upon high in the exalted heavens.
On high. So the rest of that is he makes peace
Yes,
for us. He who makes peace on high makes peace for us.
Yeah, well, okay, that's how it's said in the liturgy, but okay, we're not going into that. That point is not emphasized right now.
Okay, Hayinu diyesh din v'rachamim biyachad lifanav Hashem, and it is that there is justice and mercy together before Hashem. Amnam inyan zeh lamala me hashgatino no v'zeh haisa she'elas Hamalachim eich shayich sheyeh ba'adam midas ha'emes v'shalom yachdav. However, the subject of from above.
No, however, excuse me. However, Indians, however, this concept, this concept is above our abilities to understand.
Above our abilities. And this is the question of the angels. How is it appropriate that man is it has the characteristics of truth and peace together?
Right. This was what perplexed the Malachim. That how was it possible that in Adam there should be the midas of truth and of peace, shalom, all together? That's only something that could be possible by a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and even that we have no concept of how that can really be. It's beyond our conceptions. So therefore, the Malachim are perplexed in how is this going to be personified in the creation of man. We want to have a dogma of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in to some extent, some minor extent in Adam. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu's intention was that this should be somehow personified with the creation of man, and the Malachim were perplexed. How is this possibly going to be achieved?
I think the only we have that where we find simultaneously two things is when we were standing at Mount Sinai and we said we will do and we will what was it?
Here.
Yeah, Nasa V'Nishma. That was Nasa V'Nishma.
Here, but everything else that's peace and war and that they're not together. We can't do those together. We can have them, and at one time one thing is operative, then it doesn't operate, and something else operates. If there is a mix of them, it's that one influences the other. But at no time can we have war and peace, for example, or truth and sheker absolutely together at the one time.
Right. Okay. We're going to be continue on tomorrow with paragraph number 14, and we'll see. We have to see how the discussion is going to be concluded.
Mm-hmm.
Before we do that, Rabbi, I'd like to review the sets of characteristics, midos.
Right.
We have rachamim and chesed. We have din and rachamim, and we have emes and shalom. All those are thrown together in the last couple of lines, and I find that very confusing.
Okay, so remind me, excuse me, remind me tomorrow to begin with this, and we'll try and get that clarified, and then based on that, we can further go on to the next paragraph, if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, very good. Roy, have a good afternoon, and hope to see you tomorrow. And we'll be starting the Mr. Bruce in a few minutes. We'll be continuing on with Hilchos Hanukkah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.